Have you ever wondered what would happen if Facebook suddenly stopped working? Well, on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, we got a taste of that reality. Just after 4 in the afternoon, a digital storm was brewing. Facebook, the social media giant, faced an unexpected hiccup. Hundreds of thousands of users were abruptly logged out of their accounts, and their attempts to log back in were met with frustration and failure. This wasn't just an isolated incident. Oh no, it was a widespread issue, with reports pouring in from various countries. As the minutes ticked by, the situation grew more severe. Users found they were not just locked out of Facebook, but Messenger was also affected. Imagine the panic, the confusion, the sheer inconvenience. Conversations were abruptly halted, messages left unread, plans unmade. And it wasn't just a problem for those using their computers. Over half of these issues were related to the mobile app. Users stared at their screens perplexed as they were met with error messages and unresponsive interfaces. In the midst of this chaos, desperate users tried to regain control. Changing passwords seemed like a logical step, right? But alas, even this proved futile. As the digital world scrambled for answers, a statement came forth from the headquarters of Meta, the company that owns Facebook. The outage wasn't just a localized issue. It had a global reach, affecting users from various countries and continents. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a digital disruption on an international scale. Users from all walks of life, relying on the platforms for communication, business, and entertainment, found themselves locked out, their digital lives abruptly paused. The issues were not confined to just Facebook, they extended to its mobile app and desktop version. Users attempting to log in were met with an unresponsive interface, a stark reminder of how reliant we've become on these platforms. And it wasn't just the social media behemoth that was affected. Instagram, the photo-sharing platform, and Messenger, the communication app, both under the Facebook umbrella, were also hit. Users found these platforms equally unresponsive, adding to the growing frustration. As users scrambled to regain access to their accounts, many resorted to changing their passwords, hoping this would resolve the issue. But this proved to be in vain. Their efforts were met with the same unyielding digital wall. The problem wasn't on their end, it was a server-side issue, something out of their control. This realization only added to the growing frustration and helplessness. Meanwhile, the impact of the outage was being felt far and wide. From small businesses that rely on these platforms for their operations to influencers who use them as their primary communication tool, the outage was more than just an inconvenience. It was a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in our digital world. Even as the outage continued, the ripple effects were being felt across the globe. Users were not just frustrated, they were uneasy. In our interconnected world, such disruptions serve as a reminder of our dependency on these platforms. They underscore the need for robust digital infrastructure that can withstand such hiccups. As frustration grew, a sense of unease began to ripple through the online community. The outage was a wake-up call, a reminder of the fragility of our digital lives and the need for more resilient systems. Meta, the giant behind these platforms, wasn't just sitting idle. As the world grappled with the sudden digital blackout, Meta was in overdrive, working tirelessly to restore its services. Andy Stone, a spokesperson for Meta, quickly took to another platform to address the issue. He acknowledged the inconvenience caused to millions around the globe, stating, "We are aware that people are having trouble accessing our services." His words echoed the frustration of users unable to log into their accounts, left wondering if they had been hacked or if something had gone awry with their internet connection. But Stone didn't stop at just acknowledging the problem. He assured users that Meta was actively working on resolving the issue, stating, "We are working on it now." This was a beacon of hope for users, a sign that their digital lives would soon return to normal. Meta's response to the outage was swift and proactive. The company was transparent about the situation, acknowledging the issue publicly and assuring users that a solution was in the works. In a world where silence can lead to speculation, Meta's approach was commendable. They were not shying away from the issue, but instead they were facing it head-on. But despite Meta's assurances, the outage continued. With each passing minute, the frustration grew, and so did the questions. What had caused this outage? Was it a cyber attack, a technical glitch, or something else entirely? As Meta scrambled to restore its services, the world watched and waited. The digital blackout was not just an inconvenience, it was a stark reminder of how reliant we have become on these platforms. A simple glitch had the power to disrupt communication, businesses, and even relationships. But as the clock ticked, users began to wonder, how long would this digital blackout last? Finally, there was light at the end of the tunnel. The digital blackout that had cast a shadow over the online world was finally lifting. As the minute hand on the clock neared the 5:30 mark, signs of normalcy began to filter through. Imagine the collective sigh of relief as screens around the globe flickered back to life. The familiar blue and white interfaces of Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger, welcoming users back into the fold. Those who had been logged out could now log back in, their digital personas resurrected from the temporary oblivion. The mobile application that had borne the brunt of the outage was functioning again, as was the desktop version, albeit with some tentative hiccups. And what of Instagram and Messenger, the other two pillars in Meta's social media empire? They too had regained their footing. Instagram's feed was once again filled with the vibrant snapshots of life, while Messenger buzzed with pent-up conversations. The error messages that had thwarted attempts to access these platforms were now a thing of the past. Something went wrong, an error occurred, and the page couldn't load, they had read. But now, pages loaded smoothly, and messages, no longer restricted to the archives, flowed freely once again. However, the ordeal wasn't completely forgotten. Users remembered the futile attempts at changing passwords, a desperate move that had done nothing to alleviate the situation. The memory added a note of caution to the relief, a reminder of the vulnerability of these digital platforms we've come to rely on so heavily. In the midst of the chaos, Meta had acknowledged the problem. "We are aware that people are having trouble accessing our services," their spokesperson Andy Stone had announced. And true to their word, they had acted on it. While the outage was resolved, it left a lasting impact and raised some serious questions. The incident served as a stark reminder of how, in our increasingly connected world, a single glitch can spark a global disruption, affecting millions of people and businesses. It highlighted the vast power that social media giants like Meta wield, and the immense responsibility that comes with it. The outage was more than just a temporary inconvenience. It was a wake-up call. When Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger went offline for a while, it wasn't just a moment of annoyance for those trying to share their latest culinary masterpiece or a funny cat video. It was a glaring example of our reliance on digital platforms and the potential fallout when they falter. Let's take a moment to consider the broader implications. The largest Facebook outage to date happened back in 2021, and it had significant consequences. Companies and individual creators suffered major losses. Mark Zuckerberg alone lost over $6 billion in stock value. But it's not just about the big players, it's about everyday people too. If Facebook were to suddenly cease its operations, a vast number of employees in fields such as programming, marketing, customer support, and administrative roles would find themselves without a job. And then there are the businesses that rely heavily on Facebook for advertising. For them, an outage isn't just inconvenient, it can be financially devastating. With their main platform for reaching customers suddenly gone, they'd face significant challenges, potentially leading to layoffs in their companies as well. But every cloud has a silver lining, and in this case, it might be the opportunities created for competing platforms. With Facebook down, users might turn to other social media platforms, leading to a shift in the market dynamics. However, it's worth noting that these scenarios are not inevitable outcomes of every outage. They're more of a cautionary tale, a reminder of the potential risks of putting all our digital eggs in one basket, so to speak. The outage of March 5, 2024, served as a stark reminder of our digital vulnerability and the domino effect a single glitch can create in our interconnected world. So next time you find yourself unable to post, share, or like something, take a moment to consider the larger implications. Because in our digital age, an outage is never just an outage,